Cory Briggs' name may sound familiar. He's one of San Diego's best-known environmental attorneys, and he's known for suing developers and government agencies for violating environmental law. An iNewsSource investigation into Briggs raises questions about millions of dollars in land deals made through his law corporation. A group of legal experts believe the deals are questionable and possibly fraudulent. iNewsSource reporter Brad Racino joins me now to explain. And Brad, I mentioned the name Cory Briggs. He's familiar to people, at least his name is. Tell us more about him.
Sure. He's made a name for himself, as you said in your intro, over the last 10 years or so in San Diego. He sues project developers and government agencies. He sues them a lot. He sued the city more than 50 times. He's sued over the TOT tax, the Harbor Island Hotel, the Navy Broadway complex, the B Street cruise ship terminal. So he's known for suing over these environmental violations and suing under CEQA, or the California Environmental Quality Act. And he's also known as one of the first 3 people to publicly call for Mayor Bob Filner's resignation in 2013.
Sure, and tell us about that. So
Sure.
he was one of the first 3.
Yeah, that's him right there in the middle, walking up to the podium. And at a news conference back in 2013, it was him and former City Councilwoman Donna Fry and another attorney, Marco Gonzalez, who called on Filner to resign.
What did your investigation uncover in regards to land transactions with Briggs' law firm?
Sure. So these are all about deeds of trust. Commonly, they're mortgages, but not always. What happens is if you need $500,000 to buy your home, you enter into a deed of trust with usually a bank, and they'll give you the $500,000. But until you pay it back, they have a lien on your home. They can
Sure.
take that home if you don't pay it back. What we found is that Briggs Law Corporation has been entering into these deeds of trust with a number of different people in 4 different counties in Southern California over the last 8 years or so. And it seems a little bit strange to our experts who we spoke with that a law corporation is entering into deeds of trust, into these liens on houses. 2 of these liens really stuck out, and they were on homes in LA County and San Bernardino, I believe, County, on homes that were worth a fraction of the cost. They were $1.5 million liens. So this one home had, I think it was worth about $679,000 at the time the lien was issued. The other home was worth about $378,000, but with $1.5 million liens taken out on them with no title company between just the owner of the house and Briggs Law Corporation.
Well, this could seem like just a bad investment. Is there really anything wrong with lending people a lot of money against the value of their home?
Well, we spoke to a bunch of experts about this, and they all latched on to these 2 deeds. They were executed on the same day, like I said, to 2 members of the same family back in 2013. And they said that they have seen things like this before in different schemes where a person may be trying to hide assets from a creditor. Say you enter into bankruptcy and that creditor sees that your home is encumbered by a $1 million lien. They're not going to come after that home because it's a pain for them. Mm-hmm. So what usually happens at the end of that, once the creditor goes away, the lien is lifted, and no money actually ever really changed hands unless there was a fee paid for that service to be had.
And you actually, one of your colleagues actually went to Briggs about this question, correct?
Right. My colleague Brooke Williams and I sat down with Briggs about 2 weeks ago, and as soon as we began asking questions about his business practices, he made us shut off the camera. Here's my colleague Brooke Williams asking Briggs a question about this.
We also see that you you help people set up companies and LLCs and serve as their registered agent. Why did your law firm get into that side of business?
I'm just curious. Let's just turn this off for a sec, okay? Just turn it all off.
So he turns off the camera,
Mm-hmm.
and then what happens?
Well, we tried to follow up. Actually, we left his office and drove north to the homes of these people who had their liens. They wouldn't talk to us on the phone, so we wanted to show up and ask them about them. And they wouldn't speak to us. One of them slammed the door, the other wouldn't answer. And then about 5 days later, we received this strange letter here, actually delivered to iNewsSource through KPBS, and here it is. And basically in it, they accuse me of harassing them, and they make a reference to a possible payoff to get rid of former Mayor Bob Filner. And here's what they say in the letter. Brad Racino has repeatedly harassed us and other family members with the accusation that we paid an attorney millions of dollars to get rid of San Diego Mayor Bob Filner and made impolite demands that we talk with him about this absurd theory.
So this sounds a little confusing. You were talking to him about the mortgage things, and then you get this letter. So what do these $3 million in mortgages actually have to do with former Mayor Bob Filner stepping down?
That's a good question. Like I said, we never mentioned Filner to these people on the phone or in person. The only thing we can think of is that when we did sit down with Briggs, we did ask him why he issued $3 million in these liens, these strange liens to families on the same day, and that day happened to be 5 days after former Mayor Bob Filner announced his resignation. But that was the only time we ever brought that up. So.
All right, more to come on this, I'm sure. You can read about this at inewssource.org. Brad Racino, thanks so much.
Thank you.